I'm calling to order this evening's Borough of Conshohocken Authority meeting on July 23rd, 2024. We calling to order. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So for the record, I just want to make an announcement that prior to this meeting, we had an executive session that we talked about personnel and legal matters. We also had an executive session at the June meeting, the end of the June meeting, on personnel matters. So if you would note that for the record, Shannon. Let's start with roll call, please.
Sure. Christine Bertino.
Here.
Jack Ambler.
Here.
Aparna Chibber.
Here.
George Bass.
Here.
Tina Sokolowski.
Here. Thank you. Before we get started, I will invite any public comment related to any of the agenda items this evening.
What are the agenda items?
Is there a copy of the agenda available?
That's all right.
Do you have a copy of the agenda? Okay. So it would be our financial reports, our solicitor's report related to some appraisals and resolutions, an engineer's report about our liner contracts, our operations manager's report related to our routine business, collections and maintenance reports, and our executive director's reports. Any public comment on any of those items? Okay, that is not an agenda item, so.
I didn't think so.
Okay.
But I just want to say something.
If you can come to the podium, please, and identify yourself, and whether or not you are a resident or a resident.
Yes, I am. Is everyone here a resident? Okay. I'm a resident at 116 West 10th Avenue.
You don't need to give your address, just whether you're a resident.
I'm a resident.
And your name, please.
Linda Fazio. Well, since you were adjourned, Tyler and I had a very nice discussion. He explained what I want, some very vital answers I had here about the stormwater and the amount of money that's being charged every quarter. Now, I am going to pay this because you'll put a lien on my home, but I don't think that the money is, I think it's a little much when the borough of Norristown, not, just an example, it's $110 a year for the stormwater surge. I understand what it's for and how it started and his job, and I appreciate the time, because I never come to these meetings at all because I have no purpose. But when I got my bill, that I figured I just wanted to come down and find out exactly where the money's going, and he explained that to me, and it's in a separate fund with the authority, okay? And I explained my property, and I have, and we went through that. I have a retaining wall to the frost line, French drain. I have a 30-foot evergreen that takes up 150 gallons of water to survive. And I have a stone driveway, which, as soon as I can, it's going to be, I have to get a permit, it's going to be pebbles. So that's the best I can do. But I'd just like you to really reconsider some of the amounts that you're charging some people. Now, I'm a widow, I'm by myself, I'm on Social Security, but I work for extra money to pay my bills. And on the other hand, I have neighbors who weren't here today because they have young children, and they have 2 to 3, and it's a hardship. So I just want them to just consider that if you reevaluate this or come to another decision about the price. And that's all I have to say. But I thank you for your time, and I hope you'll take that in consideration. I'll get those papers tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your information.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have anybody online for public comment? Okay. All right, next item on the agenda is invited guests. Do we have any invited guests this evening, Tyler?
Good evening, everybody, and
Presentation.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm so glad I had this floor.
All right, hearing no invited guests, we'll go right into the approval of the meeting minutes from June 25th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June 25th, 2024 as stated? I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is our report section of the agenda. We'll start with the financial report. So in our packet, we have our accounts payable for June of 2024. And I'm looking for a motion, not an emotion, a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $111,847.69.
I'd like the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Roll call.
And we'll do a roll call vote since we're spending money.
Christine Bertina?
Yes.
Yes. Jack Ambler?
Yes.
Aparna Chibber? George Bass?
Yes.
Tina Sokolowski?
Yes. All right.
And I do want to say one thing about the bills to be paid. I don't know if you've noticed, but the Pico bill was only $200 Pico is having problems. Pico is having problems with their system. They changed it over. 3 of them have not been billed. 2 of them were not billed in June, and they were small bills. In July, there was a $15,000 bill that was supposed to come out July 5th, but did not come out. I have called Pico. They are working on it.
It felt a little light.
Yeah, yes, they, it's, apparently they're working on it.
Any questions on our accounts receivable or payment plan agreements in our packet that we need to ask administration about? Hearing no questions, Shannon, do you want to talk about the fixed asset increase that you're requesting?
Yes, so I spoke with Linda Major and Vicki Mastro. They said that we could change the fixed assets by a dollar amount, whether it be 5,000 or 10,000. But the accounting law is everything over a year. So you don't want to put anything in there that says, 5,000 in 5 years. It would just be the 5,000, and anything over a year would be a fixed asset. So we just need to make a decision of the amount we want to change it to, and if we want to change it January of 2024, or if we want to change it just going forward.
5,000 for 1 year?
Oh, no, 5,000 and 1 year, or 10,000 and 1 year. Yes,
And we're at 2,000?
we're at 1,000.
We're at 1,000.
And we can change it going back to January this year and have the whole year that way, or we can change it going forward, or we can change it at the beginning of the year. Whatever you.
Have a preference?
Make it easier or harder for you?
I would like to do it January 1, 2024.
Okay.
But if you want to wait, that's fine too.
Preference? And are you okay with 10,000 to give her that latitude from a
So
bookkeeping?
Sure.
we're gonna do 10,000? Okay.
10,000
Do,
back to 2024.
back to January 1st, 2024. Do we need a motion for that, Mike?
Yes, policy change.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on adjusting the fixed asset arrangement from $1,000 a year, and we're going to move it to $10,000 a year, effective January 1, 2024.
Yeah, so 10,000 and a life of longer than a year.
There you go. Life longer than a year. Okay. I had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Just one question on this, not on this, on the total connection fees. Do we have any like projections on that at all? Like, do we have like a estimated this building's gonna be, or, how far ahead do they even have to ask us?
So connection fees only come up when a project comes up. We do have a couple projects that are sitting out there that we may get connection fees on, but we haven't heard anything in months on those projects. So we don't know if they're going to happen. We don't know if they're just on hold. We're not,
And we approve them like.
when we get the
When
application.
they get approved or whatever, but then they might not build for X
Correct.
number of
There's,
years
Correct.
anyway.
there's stuff sitting in planning that hasn't really moved anywhere.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's like hard for us to estimate.
To-
what
to
this is
budget
gonna
it,
do
yeah.
us. Yeah, okay.
I think the best we can guesstimate is we're coming to the end of anywhere you can build anything.
Yeah,
So the next thing is they would be knocking things down to build over top of.
yeah.
Most authorities don't book anything until they actually make the connection, and they do it that way because there's no guarantee you're going to get that money. You don't want to rely upon it until you have it in your hands.
Right.
So authorities are very conservative that way.
But yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, so we were looking for other ways of getting money in. That's not necessarily anything in the short term. Yeah, or guaranteed. Yeah.
And those dollars can only be used on very specific types of
Improvements.
activities.
Okay.
in the
Capital
authority.
type improvements.
They would have to be sewer-related capital improvements.
Yeah. Okay.
Things like that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Shannon, I do have one on your monthly highlight. I went
Okay.
through it. I see that we're still waiting on a response from the solicitor's office for the ACH module.
Yes.
Is there anything you can do to help?
Yeah, I will take care of that right now.
Are there any other outstanding legal ones, since we have Mike sitting here, that we can
so-
kind of
so
say
I-
what's sitting out there?
So I did have a couple of questions on properties that I had on my lien list that were vacant or came back as unable to forward. So I need a way to get another address or what I'm supposed to do with those. I think there's 2 emails out there on 2 different properties for that. I have, I'm still waiting on a response on the workers' comp and what to do about the benefits on that situation. And the ACH, I think they're the only ones that I'm waiting on.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Any other comment or feedback on our financial reports? Hearing none, could I have a motion to accept our financial report packet for the month of June?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is our solicitor's report.
Thank you.
We have 3 items.
We have 3 items for action this evening. The first is a proposal to obtain valuation services from Indian Valley Appraisal Company. This is involving the 5 Cowell Lane matter that we have been involved in. We had a previous appraisal from Indian Valley Appraisal, but because of the time that has elapsed, it has now gone stale. And in order to move forward, with this matter on 5 Colwell Lane. We need to get the appraisal updated. You have a proposal in front of you. And it is for $4,700. And if there is litigation support needed and testimony, they will bill us at $300 per hour. The $4,700 number is a not to exceed number. We've also have the yield study from Gilmore and Associates, which will be necessary for the condemnation and the litigation matter. That's already been completed. We don't need an update on that.
Any questions related to the appraisal?
This is just to get a new appraisal.
Just to get an updated one.
Is the proposal amount included in this, or is it in this?
It's in the proposal.
It's on page 2.
It's on page 2,
Right.
kind of tucked away there in payment to company.
I have no idea how much that normally costs us this seem.
Yeah, it's pretty standard. Indian Valley's a very good company. The primary person is Mark of BC. Mark does real nice work. So
The $300 per hour is fairly standard as well.
for litigation services and testimony, yes.
And they're going to assess the property for eminent domain
Purposes.
purposes.
Right.
Okay.
So in order to go forward with the eminent domain, we need to have a more updated appraisal.
Okay.
Because as we know, market fluctuations over a 2 or 3 year period of time can really change the value of a piece of property.
And do we anticipate that the owner of the property is going to fight this? Is
Oh,
that-
yes, we do, very much so.
So
Yeah,
that is in preparation of our ducks are.
Right.
Okay.
and that's the reason we did the yield study. And what a yield study is, Gilmore and Associates, the engineers come in and they basically say, this is what you can build on this property. Because the owner is going to try to tell you, oh, I can put 900 apartments on there and it'll make me $37 million. And the yield study says, based on the zoning, based on the setbacks, based on all these other things, the most you can get here is this.
Okay.
So the yield study and the appraisal go hand in hand in defending the amount that we're going to offer for the property.
Any other questions? Hearing no other questions, could I have a motion to obtain the valuation from Indian Valley Appraisal Company not to exceed $4,700 and to $300 an hour for if it goes to litigation?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
The
Just as an aside, this is the property, it's like an old brown house.
I think it's the property that is,
Asplin used it as a yard. There's a landscaper, and then there's a big yard. It used to have concrete, well, it used to have a fence, then now it has concrete barriers,
Oh, I
kind of
thought
right
it
on the
was
bend
yeah,
on Caldwell.
I thought it was the
Right on the creek
mechanic.
bed.
It's not the mechanic.
So if you're going north on Colwell, it should be on the right, right?
Well, it's on that side.
If you go down the Caldwell this way,
Because
The
not
left.
is- not is-
it's on the left by the creek or on the
Yeah, on
right?
the creek side.
The creek side, yeah.
The creek's in his backyard.
5 is on the creek
And it's
side.
about, yeah, it's about 200 yards up from that intersection where that Y, maybe
Right.
100, 200 yards. It's the first, there's like an apartment building, and then it's like a yard, there's a porta-john. There used to be the Asplin trucks, there's a big like parking lot, like gravel parking lot.
Well, they asked which trucks are still there, just,
Yeah, Asplin's attached.
just there early in the morning and then they're going.
Yeah.
That's the last flood, they had all of the floating dumpsters and stuff all in that area.
Valuable property.
Yep.
Can you make sure we're putting on notes on?
All right, next one.
The second item we have this evening is a resolution authorizing reduction of performance security to satisfy maintenance security requirements for the project located at 110 Washington Street. The developer is High Street Conshohocken 1 LLC. And what this normally is when they're a certain amount of way through the project and they want to reduce their maintenance security, they'll go with Fred. Fred will certify that what they want to reduce it down to, the amount that they want to reduce it down to, is sufficient to cover any of the work that needs to be done.
And Fred, do you think $4,100 is reasonable?
Yeah, they're done.
Any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, do I have a motion for a resolution authorizing the reduction of a performance security to satisfy the maintenance security requirement for the project located at 110 Washington Street? The developer is High Street Conshohocken 1 LLC.
I like the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And the final item we have is a resolution authorizing release of professional service escrow and performance security for the project located at 124-126 West First Avenue. The developer is EELI LLC. And again, this is the same thing. The project is complete, and whatever's left in the professional escrow and the performance security can be returned to the developer.
Any questions on 124-126 West First Avenue? Hearing no questions, could I have a motion to authorize the resolution of the release of professional services escrow and performance security for 124-126 West First Avenue, developer EELI LLC?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And it's real briefly, through the miracle of texting, the issue regarding the ACH, the bank has finally gotten back to us with comments. We're reviewing those comments, should be having that done pretty shortly. And Shannon, maybe you didn't see it, but Lauren emailed you on the lien issue.
She emailed me on one of the issues. I think I emailed Nicole the other two.
Okay.
About the vacant property and,
Okay,
yes, I did see Lawrence. Thank you.
okay,
I
thanks.
appreciate that.
And that's all I have.
Anyone have any questions for the solicitor this evening? Hearing no additional questions, could I have a motion to accept the solicitor's report?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is our engineer's report.
First item is the liner contractor. As I reported last month in situ form, requested a conference call with me, which I held. They originally asked for a change order in the amount of approximately $141,000. They then reduced it and said, hey, we'll settle this for $70,000. I said, well, it's already been reviewed and approved twice by the board, but I will bring it back to the board that you're offering $70,000 and take direction on the board on how to respond to them on their revised request for a change order in the amount of $70,000. I'm looking for on the record direction from the board.
So based on conversations that we had, we are not looking to move forward with any resolution. We're going to stay.
I would support that decision, and I will relay that back to the contractor, that the board considered it for a third time, and the board has said, no, that's within the scope of your work. You did not submit a timely written change order request, meaning that you did the work in January and requested a change order in October. But I will relay that back to them and tell them to finish the punch list work, and we're closing out the contract.
Yes, we have a fiduciary responsibility to our residents not to.
Yep.
And it
Absolutely.
also doesn't qualify as a valid change request.
That's correct. that it is all within the scope of the work. There was no change conditions or anything to my knowledge. So next item is the coordinating with Keystone Engineering Group. The influent pump station design electrical upgrade, they have coordinated, and I was going to talk to Ed tonight, but he's not here. They will want to do a site visit on either August 1st, August 7th, or August 8th. And they now have their entire design team that they need to do both contracts available, and they wanted to wait till they were all done summer vacations. So they're ready to kick that off. I'll coordinate with Ed and the operations staff and get it one of those 3 dates. Two other quick items that are development status.
Fred, before you go there,
Oh.
this is our project that is grant funded by the state, correct?
That is correct. The large electrical upgrade is grant funded by the state. We wanted to wait until that was awarded to kick off this design contract. So that way we could, I don't say back into it, but do the scope of work that was authorized by the grant. We also have been delaying the influent pump station upgrade, there's a control upgrade, so that it can be done in concert. I don't want to do an upgrade to my pump station and then select the equipment as part of this big upgrade. It's not compatible. I want to have them all the same age, all communicating on the same exact thing. And if we're standardizing on certain types of, VFDs, controllers, that they're standard throughout the entire treatment plant. So they got that back. And like I said, they were ready in the beginning of July. I said, listen, let's wait till your whole team's there. We'll do it. And, we obviously were a little short-staffed at the treatment plant. So I wanted to let that kind of blow over. So Jay Panetti and Kirsten Hezek are going to be the 2 leaders on that. 2 development status is 720 Spring Mill. Ty continues to be extremely responsive. He confirmed to us that all materials to relay the line have been obtained, and that he is coordinating with his contractor on scheduling, realizes we need 20 or 48 hours notice. But he also wanted to make the residents aware. He's anticipating it during August. I think his contractor is paying for it himself. So I think he's kind of filling it in when he can get it in there, but he will do that. Next item, which kind of goes to when are we going to get some more money? 401 433 Washington Street. We approved the plans today. It's an apartment complex of 598 units. KRE is the apartment builder. They have reached out to me. They have retained Ed Murphy as their attorney. And now that they've got their plans approved, they want to go full speed ahead into the agreement and posting their escrow and paying for it. So that's great news. So I will put Ed Murphy in contact with Mike, Lauren, and Nicole so they can work on that. And then, I hear this a lot. Everyone wants to get the agreements done, basically so they can take it to their lender and get all their approving. But we're definitely moving in the right direction. That's probably one of the last large things we'll have. That completes my report unless the board has any questions for me.
Any questions from the board for our engineer this evening? Hearing no questions, could I have a motion to accept the engineer's report this evening?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is our operations manager report. Brent, are you?
I will hand that on
for
behalf of
us?
Ed. Ed was not able to meet tonight. You'll see his report. We're in compliance with all our parameters at the wastewater treatment plant. One item that's coming up over the next few weeks is we're doing our wet testing, which to me is one of the most important testing that we do at the plant. For individuals that don't know what that means, is we take fish and fleas and put them in an aquarium and determine if we have any toxicity. And this test is very prudent to pass because it opens up, if we don't pass it, then we have toxicity in the plant. So we're actually conducting that within the next 2 weeks. And hopefully I'll report, as we always report, that we have no toxicity in the plant.
Fish and fleas?
I was going to say fleas,
It's
like
water fleas.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're little water fleas.
Okay.
those things that.
They're little, I guess they're an insect, right? I mean,
It is. It's a microinvertebrate,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then
It
they're
is.
fathead minnow.
And then what they do is they put like sterile water right next to it. So they put them both in. So they split the minis, flathead minnows, one, 2, 1. and they do that. So if something dies because it got too hot or something like that, they should die in the, spring water as much as they do in there.
So we're rooting for the fish to live.
We're rooting for the fish to live.
Do they become pets after that?
Yeah. They're released back in.
Great for you, for your fishing. I'm glad to report we're on the final phase. We actually got our electrical panel for our vault that we flooded out a couple of years ago. Oh, it feels like a couple of years ago. So hopefully within the next month, I'll report that we are back online, normal operations, which will even help our digesters even more moving forward. So we have two items to consider tonight on his report, and we have a permit renewal, and I think as I recall, is a standard procedure where we come back to the board to approve this permit pretreatment. So we have Harris Municipal Industrial Pretreatment Program. They're part of our MIP, which is part of our EPA requirements to monitor any industrial users that have a possibility to put toxicity
I
on.
think they're about the only one left.
And we have had no issues with this group at all, correct? I mean, as far as I know, nothing. So we're asking for approval to proceed with that. So we may have the board, specifically Tina, sign that permit so we can issue that. And that would start August 1st. And for a 3-year permit.
3 year?
Yes.
Unless they change processes.
Yes.
I mean, I saw like what permit limits were given them, or some of the suggested ones, or where do we come up with those? Are they?
Basically, it comes from a combination of, we have compliance requirements to the EPA and the DEP that we have to both do. So we basically take their requirements, we pass it on as part of our municipal industrial pretreatment program.
Giving them the same concentrations typically, is that what you're saying? Because obviously it's like loading.
Either the same or lower.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's detection limit, and we basically review that with the EPA based on their MSDS sheets and their historical things. And honestly, it comes down to, they're a significant industrial, they have a SIC number, which basically, if you're this type of industry, you just take that code number that they fit into, and it's not the computer, it's a book. It spits out, this is what you got to test for. So we have very limited input into it. It's highly regulated, and you just this is the category you fit into, this is what you need to test for.
And so how frequently are they testing right now? I guess they've been passing.
I think it's
on?
quarterly.
And they're,
There have been non-detects. Most of the time, they don't discharge.
okay.
So they aren't even discharged. They
That's not only $1,000.
do notice, they do provide us, and they are honestly pretty good, of advance notice when they're actually going to discharge an industrial waste to us, so that we can do that, and we can also sample it. Because I know 2 years ago, they only discharged like twice. I don't know for what duration, but they discharged and then they stopped, and then they gave me another notice again. So they are very good at communicating that to us, and we've never caught them or have any inkling of it that they are discharging when they're not providing us notice.
I was just looking at it because it's, right, I guess if it's our only industrial one, they might be the ones who might have any negative on getting the Class A too, right? Although
In my understanding of their operation, and if I'm true, Fred, they're a metal recovery facility. So everything they recover, they want it so they can make funds off of that.
yeah, okay.
So maybe-
And most of their stuff goes through, it's manifested out, and that's why they aren't discharging to us, because they can't meet those standards. It's really only when they do clean wash down
Yeah.
of like floors and stuff like that, that they discharge to us.
And they're located in West Conshohocken?
Yes. Reyes, yeah.
Okay. Any more questions, Joe? Anybody have any questions? All right, hearing no questions, could I have a motion to renew the Harris Municipal Industrial Pretreatment Program MIP permit?
Motion. Second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next item deals with consideration of the Conshohocken Fun Fest support and participation. As you know, each one of the board members have the opportunity to choose of their choice to any nonprofit, or however you want to proceed, up to what, $1,000.
Up to $1,000,
$1,000.
yeah.
And this is one of the items the board has invested or put back into the community every year that I know of,
Yes.
correct?
So right now, we do Fun Fest, we do the community garden,
Green Fest.
the Green Fest.
And actually, I think we only have one donation so far this year. I don't even think, and that was to the PTO. That was to the Conshohocken Elementary PTO. That was the only donation so far this year.
So we didn't donate to Green Fest, we just had a table?
We just had a
I think
table.
we just had a table.
It didn't cost anything for the table?
I don't
It
think
was
so.
given to us at no charge.
EAC didn't know to hit you up for money.
They'll know better next year.
Next year, they'll know better. What do we normally give as a
Usually it's $1,000.
And we're on the tote bag.
donation? Well, then, it sounds like we should do it.
So it's
Anyone?
just $5,000 a year, or it's $1,000 per board member?
Well, so it's $5,000 a year.
Okay.
You guys can work together on the 5,000. Everyone can choose one if there's something that's dear to their heart that they want to donate to.
Yeah.
That's fine too.
Seems good to me.
1,000? Yeah. All right, can I have a motion to authorize Shannon to support the Fun Fest at $1,000 for 2024?
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That's money, do we have to do a roll call, or are we okay?
You're not actually spending the money, you're just authorizing it. It'll show up on a future bill list, so just a voice vote is fine.
Thank you. Motion carries.
And that will be my report. for
Ed's
Ed.
reports? Okay. And next up is collection and maintenance.
I don't know if there's one.
Maintenance. It's straightforward, the maintenance. I mean,
Is collection and maintenance reports required to come to the board, or can we make that an administrative function?
There's no requirement that you receive a collection and maintenance report during the board meeting.
I would like to make a motion that we remove collection and maintenance reports and add that as an administrative function for review and monitoring.
Yeah, it doesn't really require a motion. I know we're getting the sentiment from all of you. It's more of a direction to the administration.
All right, perfect.
Okay, so no
All right.
corrections and maintenance. Got it.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
So who's reviewing them then? Is that-
We can email them
Brent?
to, yeah.
We
Yeah, I
can-
mean, you
and
can
we
put them
can-
in our
If there's
packet.
anything that needs to be, we'll put on one of our
Operations
reports.
manager,
Yeah.
the executive
Yeah.
director's report.
Yeah.
All right, then we're up for the executive director's report.
Okay, the only main item that I bring to the attention of the board, as you can see, I requested Tyler to be here tonight. We haven't had a major uptick in conversations with our ratepayers for stormwater. Due to the fact that when we first did our billing sequence, we billed on 1 month of the quarter. And now that we did 3 months of the quarter, there's a change, obviously, in the fee on your bill, right? It went from 1 month, we billed for 3. So we had a tremendous uptick. As you mentioned, we had one ratepayer come, which is good. And we felt it was beneficial to have Tyler here tonight, which I'm glad he was here. But that really, the questions haven't been, they're asking for information. There's nothing been prudently, I'll use the word rude, or it's all good conversation, but I felt it was necessary. That's why I invited Tyler here tonight, just in case we had an outpouring of our ratepayers. Other than that, we're moving along. As I mentioned, my main thing is getting this panel done to get the plant back to, I call it a normal operation. And obviously I did my executive session. Other than that, I have very little to report. That completes my report.
One of the things that they did ask about stormwater is if there was like a discount for seniors. And obviously, we don't have that at this
I think it's
time.
too early in our stormwater MS4 journey to be able to figure out what this is going to look like. We don't know what the mandates are going to be in 2025, and I think we just need to continue kind of down the path, making sure that we can cover our expense. That is a government mandate, a state mandate for us that we need to do this, and you know, we could look at considering what discount programs in the future may look like for the authority. I don't know if
And
anybody
we
else
do
is
have
thinking.
some, right?
So we do,
I mean, there are some.
we do, we have the
monies.
rain barrel,
Yeah.
and then there's a couple of credits, right, for,
When is our next newsletter going out?
so they go out every quarter with the bills. So it'll go out in September.
So we'll
So
be,
maybe in the September newsletter, we can highlight what the discount credits
okay,
are
And what they have to do to get.
and what they have to do to get them, so they are available.
Highlight credits, okay.
and I agree with Tina's position. We have had really good conversation with Tyler. Before this meeting, staff met with Tyler, showing some of the concerns, not concerns, but information that we're getting that to clarify some of our items. And as we move forward, as we get more and more involved with this and move in the future, there might be adjustments to be made. But we're at the preliminary stage at this point, but we're actually keeping on top with all our questions. We had probably 6 or 7 that needed to be answered tonight on our staffing prior to this meeting, but we'll see how it goes.
Could I ask you to work with the borough manager and get on a calendar for a presentation of how we're doing with stormwater and what kind of feedback we're getting from the residents at a borough council meeting?
Most
So that
definitely.
full council can hear kind of what we're going through.
I'll reach out to her tomorrow, and then we'll get them, then we can bring that up. Right? Yep, we'll do that.
Great.
Okay. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
I have a question, and maybe it's just like how my brain works. When you map these out, I get confused of what year of it.
Well, that's why I want to change my whole procedure in that, because that was when I first came onto the board. I called there was a lot of critical items that needed to be addressed, and you could see there was a tremendous amount of items that needed to be up front. That list has dwindled to very minor issues at this point. So I'm going to readdress my whole procedure, how I'm doing it. But honestly, it just shows what we had to do as a staff to come up to par in our operation. And the staff has been doing wonderful in regards to our operation procedures.
I'm certainly not questioning the date.
You're just questioning what year you're in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fine.
I feel the same way.
So
All my years,
Brent's
it's
been
historical.
working the pile it on methodology. I'm just going to keep piling it on. It looks good. It's 3 pages now.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
All right, I have a motion to accept the executive director's report.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Any old business we need to talk about? Any comments, feedback? Hearing none. I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting, or I'm looking for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion and
I'll
a
second
second.
it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.